Okay, we shall be back. Hopefully. Hopefully. Please. Baby. Sweet little tweet. My internet went off for a second. Unstable internet. The curse of the third world. But we should be alright, I guess. Yes. Okay. What were we talking about? Oh yes, we were about to finish. Yes, we were talking about the overlords. So overlords need to ping from the main base, wherever they are sent off in the early game by the Zerg, need to ping from like one little overlord spot to the other, to the final destination. And that is because they need to do that because the Terrans usually, or Protoss, will usually try to like be gay and and open with like an Stalker or like some rather heavy marine and just like circle around the map and kill the overlords in the early game. So try to always think. I don't want to like overload because this can be like some very specific Zerg stuff. But try to like position your overlord bots in such a way that it allows for like not a seamless travel for the OVs, but at least not to them to like be cut out of position too much, too hardly. Because they still are like kind of cute, and they don't want to die. Okay, so continuing on, Miavis probably went to sleep now because it was like so late over there in like Swamp Germany where he lived. Okay, guys, do you want me to review any other? We already reviewed Repugnancy, King's Cove, Forsythian, probably. Cyber Forest, Kairos Junction. Yeah, I had read in the chat, I recall correctly, that somebody wanted me to review Kairos Junction. Oh, yeah. Sidian is not watching the stream, but still will need to like remind him. Sidian, goddammit, use different color palettes for every single cliff level. That way your maps will become more readable. This is like clearly based off the previous version of King's Cove, where the map had some issues with certain tank and marine pushes in the early game against Protoss, because wherever you have like we did that already, like if I recall correctly. I really don't remember this. I think I did it, but I did like a review of King's Cove. I may have never done it, but I don't remember. The naturals, the areas right outside the natural, it is a very important. It's a very high importance, because if you lose this area in the early game, you lose control of this area, then you become like heavily exposed. Usually Protoss will always just like hang around like behind their natural wall, but even then you still need like influence over this area, and having this, it can be even hard to read because the cliffs merge with the texturing. But having this little bridge between your natural and your third be so narrow, it allows, for example, for siege tanks positioning here to shell this area, and it makes Protoss become like very. It can be very hard for them to like take control back of this area with certain very strong pushes from Terran. The good thing about King's Cove now is that this area was like mostly fixed. It still can be like kind of a problem, and I think that in order to fix it, you will actually need to like open up this ramp like a little bit more. That would be my feedback in here. Maybe, oops, maybe go and move this rock back a little bit more, something like that. I'm not sure if this little high ground, this little like pod for overlords is like strictly necessary. I think I will personally prefer if the area was like increased, something like this. Oh. Let's hide do that. Something like that. Show compatible terrain. Okay. So something like this. That way you can, for example, if you're Protoss, you can just like wherever you win the fight in here for the high ground and whatnot, you can just move your stalkers forward and try to snipe whatever was in here. It makes it just that tiny little bit easier once you have like already defended that push to like regain the control of the area. Um, Aesthetics, I think, is like very important for like TDN to like change the 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 texturing in here, because it from the overview like it can really like melt. Everything can become like kind of blurry a little bit, especially with the very small sized overviews that you have, for example, in Battle.net and whatnot. Players usually always prefer to just jump into the game, into the map, and in game and see like how things work instead of basing themselves based off the overview alone. But it is always better to have like visual quality. When it comes to this, the actual map, I think it might benefit from having like some overlord pods instead of having like these little pods in here. It will be better to have them like more around the center, a couple extra. Um, his coral map, his old like coral map was got away with having like not many overlord pods, and it worked like very well. Coral Reef, but I still will recommend it. It is not the end of the world though. So because it has like these big areas unbettable in high ground, and those like provide like enough cover. And when it comes to the center itself, you have the cliff lines in here. So even when they are not like completely overlord pot, they still like provide some cover for the obvious hanging around in here. Uh, 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 it is like a very it is like a very solid map, I think. It's not my particular favorite ever, but it's not like something that I would like tell it. No, it's like good enough, more than good enough. When it comes to this, aesthetic wise, I like the I like the orangey water, but I think it will have more of a wow factor if the water were like kind of what I see I like to do with the strong cyan color or teal color. But I know um, that Sidian did it like this way because he wants to step away from that classic look alike, like every single beach map looks the same style, and he wanted to create like his own personal style, like and look and feel for King's Cove, and I think he really nailed it with a different color, I call different like lining color, like more warmer. When it comes to, for example, Reaper jump pods, it looks fine. As feedback, what I told the music will apply here as well. Probably the cliff line should be made like to look more natural, make it more noisy. Not like this, but actually better. Like spend some time like trying to get the cliff line to look like good. When it comes to like actual like macro scale gameplay to it, mm, I don't know what to say, because even when, for example, this like optional third slash fourth, it isn't clearly intended to be like taken as a very early third. So whatever thing I say, for example, Terran being able to put siege tanks in here in the early game after taking these rocks in the mid game ish, and push towards here won't apply because this base is designed to be taken like later in the game. And not to mention that the expansion pattern is designed to be clockwise and not counterclockwise. So in that sense, there is like very not much that I can say. The category of the map was macro, and one thing important to note is that if you have an army like around here, you can take control of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases. Also, I'm not sure if this like is we will be able to like if the map will like continue to keep this pace because of the amount of nodes and whatnot. Yeah, but this is still like a macro map, so it fits the category, I guess. It's not something that I would particularly get like behind on and like do, but it is not like the end of the world because it fits the category. This corner base, I think it will benefit from having like this ramp be removed and be just like a pocket base in the back towards even more towards the corner, a little bit more. But I think it works like enough as it is already. It is like kind of a daybreak-ish corner base, and that's fine. Yeah, really, not much feedback. Just like the problem is that Sidian loves when I tell him like when I give him like lots of feedback, but the problem is that Sidian is getting to a place that is like good enough that that I can't really like do that. Like he has been like for longer like making maps than I have. So I don't know, dude. It seems solid, on quotes. Solid slash trademark. Why there was even a sign discussion? There is one sign. Oh no. Uh anyhow, what else? Oh yeah, the best pink geyser thing. It's fine. I like compared to what I have been saying like for the last I don't know 4 hours compared to like moving this best pink geyser in here. This is a situation where you can have like both best pink geysers be like in here without much problems. He could like move this best pink geyser in there though, and that will expose both of them. Yeah, this is a little point of feedback that I would like recommend. Also, implement like some standard mineral line means here. Something like that. There you go. Yeah, like this is like basically the only thing that I would say. Change maybe the natural ramp, make it like slightly open. Add probably like an overlord pod around here, around this area. The mineral line, the main base. Maybe change this corner base, but I'm not entirely sure because it works well enough already. And that I think that's it. Oh yeah, and obviously the texturing. The texturing needs to be changed in order to make it more clear. Yeah, and that's King Cove, I think. Is there anything that you guys would like me to? I see Admiral Line. Is there any other map that you guys would like me to review? Which maps are we forgetting? Try to remember. We already reviewed New Repugnancy, Port Alexander, King's Cove, Automaton, Sudden Awakening. Yeah, no, this reviewed that as well. Crystalline Addiction. I think this is one that is missing. Yeah, and basically all of the maps of the category 1. No, come on. Ouroboros wasn't like... Check your private message on Discord. Kairos Junction. Oh, come on. I can't download it, though. It will bring the stream down. Sadly. Kairos Junction. Yeah, this one we haven't like reviewed it yet. Yeah, Kairos still hasn't been. Stasis, yeah, we'll get there. We haven't done the reviews for the first category still. There are like 4 maps in there. Oh, okay. Yes, this one. The tiles, the golden tiles, they look so good. My only like gripe with them is that they create like such high contrast that I have read like some players like kind of not liking that very incredibly high contrast. Okay, first thing, these 3 mineral pots need to be moved there. Um, mm, yeah, I recall. Let's check the Discord private message. What change had you done? Muslim water if you have problem with this formation of the mineral line or just realize it with a quick edit that have basically the mineral line in the natural. Yeah. No, the mineral line is fine. Like in whenever you have like a mineral line for the third base, it is not so much of a problem that compared to mineral lines in the natural or in the main base. It is less of a priority. Like if you want to sacrifice a mineral line like around the third and make it like for a good reason, make it for example more compact, something like this, then that is basically completely acceptable because you are like the space needs to be like prioritized over the how the mineral line look. I think in here you could get away even with like an horizontal mineral line. I do you have one that I can copy paste? No. You have this one, but I forgot how to rotate in here. Maybe this? Yep, there we go. Okay, something like that. Okay, okay. Something like that. It might work. Yeah, that would be like the only feedback that I think I could give regarding this. The only other the old mineral line that worked like well enough. I think this one uses the space like slightly more efficiently though. These rocks, I think that they are cool. I'm not sure how well they will be used or if they will be used at all. I had read that some judges were kind of concerned regarding, for example, tank pushes in here, but I don't think that is like too much of a problem per se. Um, Regarding this page itself, it is interesting enough as well. It is actually like pretty thick with this one. It is we don't see like this kind of stuff very often, and that makes it like pretty mimi, pretty cool. This optional like very standard third is like well positioned. Maybe be careful with tanks in here, but yeah, you already were careful. You clearly like this cliffing in here. It is like sign that you measure a couple things here and there. The texturing is like actually like very good. I think it can be obviously improved, but as it stands, it looks like very good for like Legacy of the Void with 8 map style texturing. This cliffing, it's fine. Amount of overlord bot, everything is fine. I think this area might be like kind of a little bit problematic in the same sense that we were talking about with Year Zero when it comes, for example, with attack path. I think that this attack path might be like slightly too linear and take away from the rest of the map. So in that sense, maybe you could have like be just a size 2 instead of a size 3 and maybe add like a couple 6x6 or 4x4 rocks in here, something like that. Maybe this might actually take away from it and make it even more dangerous against Terran. Yeah, I think that. So in that same vein, then it will be beneficial to remove these two dots in here in order to create more openness. Let me see if I can replicate your texturing. No, I can't. not easily at least. Okay, now we do the second path. Okay, something like that. Yeah, this area needs to be reduced. That area needs to be removed. The doodads. You really need the space in there. Yeah, I think that improves it considerably. So, yeah, I'm not sure. What do you guys in chat think in Discord? What do you think? These horizontal verticals have stereo hiding spots. Which one? This one. This is not an abomination. This is a good one. It's for the third base, and these ones they work well, and these ones it's okay as well. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I think that I think that we really this area needs to be like open it up a little bit more. But I want to see like this standard bases. Oh, also don't bully me for this one, okay? Please. It's like it's coffee with a night patch. It looks sick. Oh no! You took it away. You took it away. This changes everything. No, it doesn't. But I like this one. It it's fine. It's fine. Like it is not like Mavis, like that thing like with the mineral line. It's fine, but yeah, with this one, I like the meme. That's a problem. I like this mineral line. Like it has potential for meme, for like jokes and like highlight reels and everything. But I know exactly. No, yeah. Keep the one you did. Keep that one. Not this one. The one that you sent me the screenshot for. And I say it because it will make the map like more stable and everything. Like it will make it like less abusive, like people whining less. It will make like if the map gets big to ladder and everything, it will make like the time spent in the ladder like more enjoyable to the player. And even when I would like I would like to torture the player some, I think that it will be fine. Also, do that just in order to like make this area like better for things. Okay. Implement it more like I always try to think like this is a thing that I'm always like memeing. I'm always memeing about. Try to make your map like implement ideas from Superhuman because they are actually like very good. They work very well. Like try to create some very tight choke with like some open area around it. Like if you don't have an open area and you have like just a tight choke and then just like kind of a meh open area, then that area like that interaction doesn't work that well. It is the contrast between the tight chokes and the open areas, the ones that make like the entire thing work well. When it comes to this, overlord pods, yeah, as I said, is fine with the amount of overlord pods. Maybe a little bit much, but I'm not sure. This area probably needs to be done. This area is fine. This area is correct. This area is correct. This area could be also again using the same fashion. I'm adding like rocks everywhere, like maybe something like this, so players can, for example, place like a barracks or a gateway in here and just block it. so there is only like a single entrance to the pocket, to the quasi pocket base. Something like that might be like cool-ish or interesting for certain scenarios in game. Also, it makes this base like more easily to defend, which might be beneficial for like attacks and whatnot. They're both, yeah, no, it's fine, it's fine. Yeah, I think that's all. If we could like alter textures, like use custom textures, I think one of the things that I would personally do is change the contrast between all of these tiles, because the contrast itself, it is like actually taking away, in my opinion, it is taking away from like the gameplay. The contrast is just too high in the background. So if you could do something while still retaining the color palette itself, like this golden with the black and the gray, I will recommend you to do something like that. Maybe replace these tiles with the Castanar tiles. There are two tiles. There are like two different like black tiles that look like this. There are one in Castanar, and I think there are others in Corhal. I think Corhal City, something like that. And one is like more bluish than the other, the black one. So maybe replace them for the bluish, like less gray, less dark one, something like that. I'm not sure. But yeah, try to reduce the contrast if possible. Maybe you could reduce contrast or the busyness of the entire textures by replacing these ones. Or replacing the normal of these ones with something like with a Protoss like a purifier, like kind of grayish texture, something like that. And that might help like a lot regarding the busyness of how the entire thing looks. When it comes to this, oh, also add some doodads in here. I think that's all. That's all for the time being. Oh yeah, this little trap overlord pod. Be sure that the stalkers can't see into this overlord pod. If you want, you have two options. You can move it to this side and place it around here where it might work very well. Or you can add like invisible, like the doodad, our meme doodad, the invisible curtain loss blockers on top of here. Oops. So wherever you have, for example, an stalker looking around here, his like line of sight won't be able to see any unit that is on top of it, because these invisible line of sight blockers will block the vision, and then this area will become like an actual like ovipod. Yeah, so these are your two options. You can move it around here, or you can add the invisible line of sight blockers and probably like some smoke or a fan or a doodad in here to make it like be more visible. Or maybe not, or maybe just leave it like that, and just so you can avoid, for example, the problems that we were talking about earlier with the overlords like sliding a little bit and just getting killed by random stuff. So those are the options. Yeah, I think that for the time being, that's all. Also, make sure that you have like the correct like mineral patches and everything. Make sure that the faraway patches are always the 900 ones, and the close ones to the CC or the town hall are the 1500 ones for all the bases. What else? No, I think that's all. My concern regarding, for example, the grand scheme of the design of the map will be this one, the ramp in the center, or try to make the center, the central attack path like less dominant overall. I think that you rotating the mineral line here and making it to the side actually helps with that. So that's why I'm like also supported. I also support that change. Could the white be better as more gray? Yeah, Estasis. Where is it? The white work better as the gray. It when it comes to this, I will tell you like just to try it out for this type of textures. Probably make it like darker might work, but I'm not entirely sure. You will have to try different textures for this area in order to avoid like less like high contrast visual clutter and other things. So try it out if you have the time. Like it still is like just on quotes. It is on quotes just a visual change. So it won't like, at least in my eyes, it doesn't kill the map, but it's something that you might want to like look at. Okay, so we have stasis. You're offline on Twitch. I keep refreshing. Ah, yeah, no, that's an old message. Oh yeah, the new Sunshine map. This area looks incredible. I gotta mention it. Just in the same fashion that I was talking about it, I'm not sure if there are still like guys that were like very early in the stream, but whatever, if you have in the editor, you have the option to silence the in-game, to silence the editor or not, to mute Atlas sound. And I will recommend you to never do that, because it is always important for you to hear this kind of mess, because there are a huge amount of doodads that produce some very loud sounds, and you need to always be able to catch those. So you're try to, if you have, for example, some sound mixer or stuff like this in Windows, try to control or reduce the sound of the editor itself, so you can still like keep your hearing when you are older whenever you play some of those very loud doodads and not get deaf, but still be able to like catch them and like just click on them and just mute them. Oh, there we go. Disable sound emitter. That way the players will be able to keep their sanity in game. Okay, the new Sunshine map. First thing, reviewing the. Make sure. I know that new Sunshine is always great for this. He always checks for every single little of these things. Do you see how the building grid aligns with the pathing blockers that he placed, with the pathing paint? Well, this is like a seriously nice meme, and it also aligns with the model itself. So there shouldn't be like any problem whatsoever wherever like Terrans are trying to build their walls and stuff. So I always try to be like New Sunshine when it comes to like this kind of stuff. With this, as general feedback for the map, one of the very reasons why the map made it was because of this, but I think it's like very tricky. I don't quite like it. I don't like the path itself. Um, I think that it can be like way too heavily abused, but other judges and like overall like disagreed. It's fine, I guess. Especially because it has the Selnaga tower. So okay, as general feedback, I think that the entire central attack path, it is like probably too choky. Like I have been talking in the past that just in the previous map, for example, that try to think like the from a spawn position to a spawn position, that there is sand like flowing from one side to the other. And what happens in here is that this area, this entire area, it is, even when it's like a straight line, it is also so choky that the sand itself like clumps, like fills up and overflows to the other side. So as what I will do in here, it is actually to make it even more chokier. Something like that, but I'm not totally sure in which areas I will do it. But try to make this area even more chokier so players don't want to send their entire armies down this path. When it comes to this, probably my advice, but this is not something that can be per se fixed in here. It is that New Sunshine also has also faced this issue like a lot, and it is that many of his maps tend to be like considerably chokier than they should be for Legacy of the Void. I think that that's something that is like a constant on like a considerable amount of his map. So I will seriously recommend to like just like sit and go to the Wikipedia page for Brood War maps and just like look and understand the spacing of Brood War maps. Because Legacy of the Void is far closer to Brood War with stuff like the Liberators and whatnot, with the stronger siege tanks. The armies behave a lot more like Brood War-ish armies. So try to make like areas more open overall, compared to, for example, Head of the Swarm, where we had like the death balls, and the only way to deal with the death balls was like with some very seriously tight choke, and make like all of the areas like considerably chokier. So yeah, that is like a general feedback that I will give. It is not. I don't think that the map is like awful, but I think that it could be like so much, not not either like so much better, but better if the overall were like more open, because I think that there will be like several areas which can be like exploited down the line in whatever the metagame changes if this map makes it to ladder. Because you need to remember that wherever a map makes it to ladder, it changes the metagame itself of the ladder to adapt to the map. So if this map makes it, changes will happen. And that is, I think that is exactly the kind of stuff that Blizzard likes and wants. But it is something that we as like level designers memers need to be like watchful for, because we need to understand that the changes that our creations force into the ladder. Excellent usage of, for example, Overlord Pod, like this, those are like very well positioned. When it comes to the main base, very solid, very solid. Maybe this Bespin Geyser could have been placed to the other side in order to allow for slightly easier vision, because you need to realize that the overlords of the Zerg player will come from here and not from here really, or very little. So I think that moving that Bespin Geyser there will be beneficial. When it comes to Liberator stuff, I think that the scariest army in here will be like something like Liberator Siege Tank, with like Marine Bio, something like that. Those are like the always the scariest armies to deal with in like very tight chokes such as this one. This will be like a map that will like help a lot the Terran player. Yeah, there is like not much like very specific stuff. Probably the thing like with the hatcheries, stuff like this. For CVC, you always have the scenario. This is something that I have been like attacking on quotes, like lots of you guys, because in CVC the ramp usually needs to be close to the hatchery in order for the queens to like be able to avoid like link floods and whatnot. So this map in general, from my hyper map maker opinion, will be like a rather bad map for CVC, because of the ramp is like considerably exposed and close by to the natural ramp. That way, wherever it will be like a link flood fest with like banelings all the way. and other stuff. The thing is that now in Legacy of the Voids, players have gotten like very good at dealing with like link floods in CVC. So it is not that much of a problem, but it's still like something that you should be like watchful for. The aesthetics of the map is like on point. I would still prefer if these do that were like diagonally placed instead of something like this, and then diagonals all the way instead of like vertical lines, but that's still fine. That's more of a personal thing. I think that diagonals work better with like StarCraft and like isometric games with the camera and whatnot than the vertical ones. Should have made the map better. What else? There is like not much else. Like it is incredibly visually clear regarding, for example, which high grounds are which. That is something like is always that New Sunshine does very well. Same with, for example, I don't know, like ICL or the more experienced guys like Negative Zero, Avex. This little like play with doodads looks great, looks fantastic. This is one of the things that I really love about the stuff that New Sunshine does. He always like finds the small little like doodad usage that makes things look like incredibly nice. They are like some very high return on investment doodads, stuff like this. If you go like all the way, New Sunshine has a thread in Team Liquid where he posted like a huge amount of his map, New Sunshine map thread, something like that, and it might be. And you always notice that he has like the best like the small do that like usage. What else? No, I think that's it for now. I'm not sure if this I'm not sure if like Blizzard development team will like this map just because of how tight the central attack path is. They will give it like some points for the meme pathway on top of here, but this attack path will like just slaughter the all the players from like I don't know platinum to like silver. Lots of players will like lose their armies or like get very frustrated trying to deal with the opponent's armies in this. I think this area will like work very well. It will be very interesting to watch games from pro players, but for like the rest of the player base, I'm not sure if it will be like technically they have like the technical skill to deal with armies in this area. So that's a key point. Anyhow, guys, which map are we forgetting? I'm not sure if we opened this one. Okay, we already reviewed that one apparently. Traction. What I will be doing is probably I really need to download my both my VODs from Twitch and upload to YouTube because I really don't want to like lose these streams from feedback. The music map. I'm really surprised this map made it, to be honest. The aesthetics, like whenever somebody like in the future said that the judges only care for aesthetics, like just send them this map file. Yeah, it works. I think that there was like a serious exploitative positioning here with siege tanks that the music like fixed. It took him a while though, but he made it. Third base, yeah, there is like literally not much that I can say because like it is a standard within the boundaries of what standard can be for this kind of maps. So it has like it has got the biodams everywhere. Yeah, no, it works. Like on quotes, like that's all I can say. This like I don't want to say that I'm disappointed, but I would have preferred, I think, it may be another map might have made it instead of this one, but I'm not sure which other map. But this is like kind of it's like kind of an okay map, I guess. It will play well in ladder, like we have had like far worse on ladders if this one makes it. So it's not the end of the world or anything. Antigonus. I actually haven't seen the new art for extraction ability. I haven't been able to keep up with the art with the Discord as much. After this, I need to like go judging things. Static wise, it looks alright. Yeah, this one with the back base. This one was a tricky for the judges because it kind of the category said that the maps needed to be like kind of aggressive, but this one is like well executed inside of its own bounds. So it was tricky for us. As feedback, as general feedback, make it more visually clear which areas are high ground and which areas are not. This area should be like textured as this one, so just with a natural instead of this. Solnagas, the spacing is like alright. It will be like improved. Like for example, ramps such as this one might have been possibly be like cardinal instead, so armies can pass this way and create like a more open area on top of here. But that's like a different level thing. Mineral line, like no tanks problems, that is fine. The issue with this kind of mineral lines with the 6 mineral patches and 2 Vespian geysers is that it rewards products like a bit too much, at least in my take. It is still better than having like a full mineral line, I guess, in the back of the base. I always have found like having like a backdoor mineral, a backdoor natural, like being kind of dull, gameplay wise. But that is still like, I think this is still the better option. I think this is an even better option, but I will make do with that. These kind of things needs to be like cleared out. Maybe not removed, but reduce the height of it so the mineral line doesn't become blocked by it by the do that. Always remember that the mineral lines and resource positionings, it's always like some very high priority thing for like players to like understand and just understand instantly what it is and where they are located. For example, this mineral patch is like blocked by some do that. Avoid that. In this case, obviously, like try to remove the doodads wherever available. In here, I wanted to say that in the past we used to have like a serious, always like a good amount of like map makers trying to submit like with maps with big doodads such as this one, and the air units will clip through it. So always be on the watch wherever you use like high tall doodad. And if you do, and if you find like an area where you have like a tall doodad and your units clip through it, don't put a bloody no-fly zone on top of the doodad. Just reduce the height of it. That is always the best option, because the no-fly zones are always like incredibly like buggy and tricky to use. This area as well, it looks so fine, it looks good, but I think it should be like more visually clear that you can't. It's so sad because we always have like this kind of thick looking areas, but we need to block them visually so players can instantly understand that which areas are can be like drop units on, and which areas can. Besides that, we have from an overview perspective, we have our main attacker path, and because it is like the nature of this kind of layouts, it is always like incredibly linear one. That's something that I really don't like. But this is like well executed to be like standard enough inside of the bound of it. When it comes to this rocks is like not really necessary. I'm not sure if I will remove it, but if I were making this map, but it is not like strictly necessary to have it in there. At that point, if you want to add like meme collapsible rocks, it is always better to add them in the center, around the center, because they can create like some cool scenarios. Whatever, for example, a third player throws like a fungal and then snipes the rocks, and then half of the army of the enemy player dies, something like that. Some PogChamp moment. But beyond that, I guess that is all. I think that we reviewed them all. All of the Team Blue Map Contest finalists. The Jarvan walls. Floating Keiju. Yeah, the wells look sick. Wow. They are a little bit too loud from my side. I think that you guys will have like a good volume. Yeah. So it shouldn't be too loud for you. Hopefully. It is still like very loud. Anyhow, guys, any map that you guys would like me to review? Cut 2. There is a difference between aesthetics and meme aesthetics. This succeeds at different costs as per high level overall brightness and the water giving a border trim. I don't know what the hell you are talking about, Mavis. Meme aesthetics are the bane of Team Liquid map content. Yeah, I agree, Mavis. I think that we should like stone Team A with their freaking map flags, and then like make it I will actually for the team for the don't do that. Like I don't or maybe do it, but I don't know, dude. I don't know, dude. Ouroboros. No. What if we don't? What if we just don't? Um. Okay, let's do it. Okay. Ouroboros. Anyhow, guys, I think that Ouroboros might be the final one because my throat is giving up, and I still need to like talk with the other judges for the Team Liquid map team contest thing. Actually, god damn it, Mavis, you could have added some like rocks in here, but now you just added like a bunch of like fires. Okay. I don't want to say that it looks like. No, I don't like it. Come on, dude. Like you were whining about me talking about bad mineral lines, and then you do this. You do that. Come on, like seriously? Okay. Um, if you're gonna do that, at least do it like this. That it uses the same amount of space instead of doing this. And this mineral patch is so incredibly inefficient. Like that's insane, dude. God damn it. Okay. So, for this one, this wasn't a finalist, and I actually don't exactly remember why it wasn't. We we didn't have. There was like considerable amount of discussion this team blue map contest, and that is something that I really didn't like. I just wasn't around to like spark discussion and whatnot. That sucked. Yeah, I don't know. The problem is that we did like a voting and some map, and there was like not much discussion at all. That sucked, as I said. So if you want me, I can give you pointers regarding as to why this map didn't make it. But if you want me, I can like go back to you. I don't know, like in a couple days, and I can like talk with other judges and like review their scores and other things. That way you will get like more serious feedback than just me like talking about what things I like and what things I don't like. Because even when the map is solid, and I think that I don't want to say that it should have been. This like one of the strongest maps that I think were left out personally. But the other judges might not feel the same way, and I don't want to like impose my views over what the other judges say. So yeah, I think that I will need to like get you back on this one. So yeah, guys. Is this better? What is better? Ah, with the noise. With this one. No, I think it looks janky. I think it looks better without do that. Yeah. Yeah, I think it looks better without do that, or with the invisible line of sight blockers. The color. Yeah, my throat. Yeah, no, it is fun, Beliki. Like, don't worry. I like to do like these meme streams, especially like around people with my content. What else? What things are we forgetting, guys? I'm not sure that we are forgetting much, if at all. Hopefully, we reviewed all of the maps. Oh, one thing. Whatever you guys, if you ever have like to open like many maps in the editor, like one after the other, know that sometimes the editor crashes when that happens. I'm not entirely sure why, but there has to be like some kind of memory leak somewhere, or CPU leak or something, and then the editor, wherever you reach, like I don't know, like 13, like 15 different maps that you open at the same time, one after the other, the editor like just like blank and just like crashes. So watch out for that. Don't let it happen to you and then lose like work if you were like doing like stuff in the editor. Yeah, it has a gap of amount of maps. I don't know which one it is, and it might be like different by the amount of memory RAM that you have, or something like that, or virtual disks. The amount of space that can be used virtually from your hard drive, something like that. Anyhow, guys, if you need me, hopefully, we'll continue to do this next week. I can't promise it compared to like last week and this one, but I'll try it, because I still want to like continue doing map reviews for the non-finalists. Like now we're doing the finalists because you guys need to submit it like today, tomorrow, or yeah, like tomorrow. So I'm trying to do this for all of the memers, brave memers that made it finalist. Yeah. So yeah, guys, I think that's all for the stream. How long did it stream today? Like hours and hours. Anyhow, see you guys around. If you need me for like discussing stuff in Discord, just send me like a private message, or like just add me in the Discord chat. Also, if anybody, be sure, like Meavis or Beliki, just post like an invite line from the Discord in the chat. That way, wherever like anybody like found this stream, this meme stream, will be able to like just join us in the Discord. But anyhow, guys, see you around. Was fun talking to you, and see you hopefully next week. See ya.